Kristen Denman, thank you so much for being here.
Michael Hartman,
This
cheers.
is crazy. This is crazy. It's been like a year or two, right?
You've been asking me to come over here for a
Come over
while, me and Richard, but
Same. But I'm glad you're finally here. I'm glad we get to sit down. You get a break from your 3 boys.
oh, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. And we get to have a couple of drinks.
I had to bring you a cucumber
Yeah.
Chilton. That's
Yeah,
what it
you
is.
said martini, and I would have drank them, but I'm glad we have some.
I didn't want it to be too girly, so
Yeah.
I changed it to Chilton.
I appreciate it. So, well, let's get into your background. What's like your earliest childhood memory?
Okay, let's see, Michael Hartman, where should we start? So I grew up on the west side of El Paso.
Mm-hmm. No. Your earliest childhood memory.
Oh.
Like, were you?
Okay, let me tell you my favorite.
Did you hurt yourself early that
No.
you remember? Or what?
I'm going to tell you my best childhood memory. I'm just going to start off the bat. I told Richard, I was like, I'm going to start him off with my coolest. I was 7 years old.
Mm-hmm.
My real dad, my mom and dad, Lorraine and Steve are my mom and dad. So my dad was a big fisherman. Okay, so he always would go to the lake. He was like into Elephant Butte, take his boat out. He was really into it, go every weekend. Solo most of the time, but as I was the oldest, I had a younger sister. As I was like probably 5, he'd be like, you want to come with me? So I would go, and I was into it. I really like, well, you know me and the boys. We love fishing. We actually, I can't lie, we love to fish. But at 5, I don't think I was as into it as he was. You know what I mean? I think he made me do it, or my mom made me go with him, honestly. So one day we went out. My mom said, you need to go with your dad. He's going to go on a big fishing trip. And I was like, I don't want to go. Like, I was crying. I said, please don't make me go. She was like, going to go with him. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'll go. He's like, please, I don't want to go alone. We're going to go with my buddy. His name was Buddy. He was a fishing guide in Elephant Butte. And he's like, we're going to go catch big fish. He's like, it's going to be a good trip. You'll catch a fish. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll go. I didn't have a choice. I went. We drove down there. We woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. He's like, we're going. I was like, where we stopped at that Circle K right there, the Circle K right there in Elephant Butte. We got our snacks. He's like, get some snacks, get all your stuff. And then we got to the boat. We all loaded up. And I remember there was a big bed on the back. I took a nap. He woke me up about, the sun was coming up, you know, and he's like, you need to get up. The fish are gonna, this is the time. So I got up, and I had my pole. He had his pole.
The perfect cast. My dad taught it to me when I was about your age. Okay, now, watch carefully. You gotta be loose, relaxed, with your feet apart. And 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 2:45, 2 you say, twist, over, pot of do, I'm a little teapot, and the wind up. Huh? And let her fly! The perfect cast.
We're all there, and all of a sudden we get a hook, and he's like, this is yours, this is yours. And I was like, no, and it was mine. And I was just like, you need to do this, Buddy's here. I was young at the time, but now that I'm an adult, he was like, you need to do it by yourself. And I was reeling it in hard. I was reeling it in really good. It was good. All of a sudden, it was really hard. I was crying. I was like, help me. He's like, you have to do it by yourself. I pulled it over. He's like, you have to pull it over the boat level, or it's not going to be fair. I don't know what they were up to. So they made me literally reel it all the way up above the boat, and then they caught it with the net and they grabbed it.
Okay.
It was a small fry world record for my age at 7 years old.
No way. Your first fish ever.
I had caught fish, but that was my first really, it was a world record because I was with the fishing guide, and it was actually a world record, small fry. It was, I think, I'll have to show you the picture here when we're on break, but it was, it was 19 pounds.
How long did that? 19 pounds?
Yeah, it was
at
huge.
7?
I swear. I have it stuffed in Case's room.
That's bigger than my biggest fish I ever caught.
I had a newspaper article and everything.
Dude, I caught a 15-pound salmon. That was the biggest fish
That's
I ever caught.
huge.
I know, but 19 pounds you're telling me
I
now,
have to
feel
find
like
a picture right now.
lesser than.
No,
That's
I have to find it real
crazy.
quick. Hold on. It was crazy, and it was literally, now that I'm an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I did it. But I cried, and I hated him so much after I caught it. And I was like, I can't believe you were there. Then after that,
buddy.
we went to the grocery store. They weighed it, and they were taking pictures and stuff. And I was like, lost. I was 7. I was like, what's going on? And then after that, they took it, they stuffed it. And I never thought about it again. And then he brought it back. He's like, that. It was like, it took a couple of months for them to like come back, but it was a small fry world record.
No way.
Yeah, small
That's
fry world record.
incredible.
It was crazy. And honestly, it's in my son's room. So that's why we fish, because they think that they're gonna beat my world record.
Oh,
one day.
nice. So you're all competitive.
No, we are. That's why fishing is our big thing. We love fishing. We do. But that was like one of my greatest childhood memories.
That's
and
a
now
great
that I'm an
story.
adult, I have the clip. One day, right now, I'll go through my pictures and we'll talk about it. But
Yeah, send it to me and I'll send it to Joe, and hopefully you can post it so everybody can see it.
it's so funny. Everybody
cool.
laughs, and I tell people, Richard's like, tell them about the fish. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to tell them about the fish.
Oh,
But
that's a great story.
I'm grateful for my dad, and I'm grateful for that because I'm an adult now and people still. I think somebody broke my record like in 2004 4 or 5, something like that. But it was, for a good minute, I was a solid
Dang,
small fry
that's
world
amazing.
record of a largemouth bass.
So you're so competitive. So how did you decide to start racing? I'm gonna go forward to kind of more current, and then
Okay.
we'll go back and forth. But how did you decide? Were you kind of like me? Like if somebody's not competitive in my life, and then they're like, well, why don't you just go do it then? I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go buy a car, and I'm gonna show you what it looks like to be competitive and try to win.
Kind of. I mean, Richard, you know, he was into it. I mean, he doesn't like to drink. He doesn't like to go out. But the boys are into cars, race cars, any kind of car, fixing trucks, quads, dirt bikes. They're into that stuff. So Richard got into it a little bit, but I bartend on the weekends. I work on the weekends.
Yeah.
You know, and I have events and stuff. So I'm usually busy on the weekends. So when he was like in 2019 is when he really was full throttle, when he won the championship in 2019.
Nice.
And he was like going at it, and I caught on a little bit, but I was not really involved at the time because I was busy on the weekends, you know?
Yeah.
And then COVID happened in 2020. So we kind of talked about it, and he got the super truck, and he's like, hey, you should just try it. Because I like off-roading. I like quads and dirt bikes. But I'm not really competitive, but I like to go off-roading a lot. So he's like, you should do it. You'll be good at it. And I was like, no. I like watching in the stands and cheering. And drinking my beer.
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
fine. Like, you go and you do your thing. And then one day he's like, just try it one day. And we talked about during COVID, and he was like, I'm going to get ready for you when it starts. Like, you better be ready. And I was like, okay, whatever, Richard, you say. And then one day he's like, I get home, and he had both of the cars loaded on a trailer. And I said, he's like, you're going to drive that one. You're going to take Betsy to the track, and I'm going to take the super truck. And I said, no. He's like, just try it.
Yeah.
You don't have to do the heat race. And if you don't want to, like, you don't. He's like, but I think you'll be good.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, let's go, I guess. So I wasn't going to say no, it was loaded. And I was excited. I was like, oh, there's going to be cool pictures. My friends are going to think I'm kind of cool. Like, this is cool, whatever.
Yeah.
Got in it. It was the season. Ryder McCutcheon was, like, slamming everybody to the ground. And I was
Yeah.
like, that kid is going to, like, take me to town, dude. We went. I got out on the track, and I'm never going to forget it. I literally was like, I'm going to cry. Thought I was going to cry.
Yeah.
I was like, this is scary. I was like, there's no way. I'm going to total the car. I'm going to hurt myself. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way. Took off. I don't know what happened. I ended up 4th place that night.
Yeah.
My first time out. And everybody was like, what? I was like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what. But he's like, you went to tech for your first race. That's cool. And I didn't understand what that meant. But I was like, oh, cool. Okay, yeah. So that was the first race. So he's like, you're in. You have to just go another race. Like, you're in now. And I was like, yeah, I was a little confident. I'm not going to lie. I was like, yeah, I can do this. It wasn't that bad. Second race out. Okay, Michael Hartman. A little confident. Thought I knew what I was doing, right? Go out. We're racing. It's a good time. We talked about everything. Rachel told me, if this happens, this is what you do. This happens, you do. If not, pull over, whatever. But we never talked about if your transponder goes out, what you do, right? So I'm racing. I guess my battery went out. My transponder went out. This is like ultimate worst racer's nightmare. Like, and I didn't know this my second race. My transponder went out. I don't know what happened. It was cutting in and out.
Yeah.
I was racing. I guess it was cutting out. I guess I had a flat tire. Syracuse. I think it was Syracuse or Chris. I don't know who it was. I think it was Syracuse. She was black flagging me. I got black flagged 6 times because I had a flat tire, and I was just counting where I thought I was supposed to go.
Okay, they've added a lap, and I'm pretty sure it's because the king won't come off the track.
And she was like, and finally like cut on, and she's like, 48, you've been black flagged 6 times. Get off the track. Thank you for coming. And I was like, black flag, what does that even mean? And then I look up, and the guy's like, you go. And I was like, and another racer stopped, and he's like, you get off the track. And I was like, I guess that means get off the track. And I was so embarrassed. I went back, and Richard's like, what happened? I was like, black flag. He's like, no. I was like 6 times. He's like, what? So that was my second time racing Michael Hartman. And after that, I was like, there's no way.
That's
So we kind of
amazing.
took a break. And then I came back, and slowly but surely, you know what I mean? It takes time. You know how it goes. And I think that's when I took a break, and that's when we started racing that full season. I started.
Yeah, that was the end of my first season. I raced the last 3 races when McCutcheon won the championship.
Okay, yeah, same.
Yeah,
I
with
think
that
we're the
602 crate motor
Yes.
that he took. Didn't have seals, but whatever.
But
But that's funny because I don't know if you remember mine, because the horror you feel when you're out there. You probably invited all these people because you thought you were a badass.
Oh, I invited everybody.
My car, I stopped to get fuel when it was Pick Quick and on Don Roser, and some kid came up and asked me, is that a demolition derby car or is that a race car? I was like,
I was like,
it was so messed up.
too.
The car was so totaled. And then I went out there, I invited the neighborhood, so one set of neighbors came with their kids. and I went out on the track the first time. It was like, wah, bah, 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 bah. I had first gear only in my transmission, and I was hitting the pill coming onto the track. I was getting lapped like 3-4 times. So I was like, oh my gosh, I did not get into this to get lapped 3 or 4 times by everybody. You probably lapped me like 3 times that night.
I wish. No,
Yeah.
I think I remember you lapping me way more than me lapping you. Oh my God, Harmon, let me tell you.
No, you're a freaking. I like, it's just like we're way past the days where, like, oh, it's a woman on the racetrack. Women have already proven they can race, you know. So it's not like that anymore. But I still think you kind of like, it just stands out when you see a girl at the track. I think it's killer. I like, I have a lot of respect when girls come out and they're like, oh, you boys think you can beat me? Go ahead, serve it up. I'm gonna spike it off your head. You know, I love that.
I never
That's
really
my
knew
favorite.
about like boy-girl like competition. I never really had witnessed it with my own eyes until I got out there and actually saw guys. They're like, oh, they would come to like, I can't believe you beat me, bro. I can't be letting girls beat me like that, dude. They
I think
always
it's so
tell
cool.
me.
I've had a hard time being pitted so close to you and not showing you how much affection I want to show you. I just want to hold on to you. I think it's so cool. Same with Ashley Buck. Do you know Ashley
Dude,
Buck?
I love her.
She's the cutest
She's
kid.
the best.
And when we started, remember 3 years ago, she
She
just
was-
turned
yeah.
18 at Fall Nationals, but she was such a cute little kid.
She was the best.
And
I
I just
love her.
always try to encourage her because I just think it's so cool that
Yeah.
she's out there giving it her all.
No,
and
she's the best.
man,
She's a good girl. I really like her so
Yeah,
much.
she's
I always tell
turned
Richard and
18.
her father too. He's a good guy too. They're
Oh,
both good
yeah.
people. And then
Yeah,
she's
they're
been sending
amazing.
it though. This like
oh yeah,
this
she's
last
going for
season.
it.
I tell her, I'm like, dude, you've been sending it. It's hard in that stock car race, right? These days.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like.
Oh, yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, I don't even have the stuff to go out there and do that. Like people are like, go send it this weekend. I'm like, I'm scared. Like these guys,
Those guys are monsters.
Sending it. Like top 10 are just beasts.
Oh yeah,
And
they're
I'm like, and the
monsters.
fact that you're getting even get up there, you guys are like messing around up there is crazy to me because they're here to bring it for sure.
I saw Burton because I had a choice to make. You know what? I feel like we shouldn't be in pure sucks forever, keeping everybody from winning. I don't think.
No, I agree.
So, and then I've done fine in the truck, so I figured just keep going, let somebody else come through and win. And but I was talking to Burton at the AOS at Jimmy Ray's shop last week, and I was just letting him talk, and he said, Hartman, I haven't won a freaking race this year. And I said, well, when I had to choose which class to go to, those guys are animals in stock cars. I mean, animals. I would not want to move into that. They're technical, great drivers. Like, competitors want to compete, but I don't want to get my ass kicked
No,
forever.
they're embarrassing
Those
me.
guys are, yeah.
Literally, I
The
feel you.
Mosleys and Canes of the world, I'm like, I'll race with you guys, but I don't want to race the
I just
same
wanna
class every
pretend
week.
that we raced a race together so I could tell everybody, but I don't want you to show everybody. You embarrassed me, literally. But Jonathan Byrne is such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good people,
cool
and his
kid.
wife and his kids, like, we hang out with them sometimes. They're
Yeah?
good people.
Yeah,
They're
I
good
don't know him
people.
that well, but
They're super
I was
good.
surprised because he's a badass.
Dude, he's a beast,
And
too.
he was like, I haven't won a feature all year. I'm like, no way. That's why I didn't get into the stock cars.
Dude,
that
these
looks crazy.
Features are hard to win,
guys
especially
are
in that
awesome.
class. Every class these days, like,
Yeah.
you have to take it and give it your 120% because it gets crazy. People ask me too. That's what I get a lot because people are like, "You raced at Vado?" Because I'm from El Paso, the West Side, and I don't know if you
I didn't
get
know
this
that.
a lot. People don't even know what Vado is. Or,
Really?
like they don't know like what race car dirt track racing is. Like I didn't really know until I met Richard and he took me to Southern and I realized it too. And I'm like, oh, okay, like I didn't really, you know what I mean? A lot of people are just curious or don't know where it is. And like I invite people and they're like, that was so cool. I can't believe like the stuff that you guys do or how fast you guys are actually going or like, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've
Right.
had people come, they're like, what? That's so cool.
Yeah, all of Lisa's brothers when they came here, they've given me. I mean, my whole life, they're kind of my best friends, and they would always say, "What are you doing every Sunday?" I'm like, "What do you think I'm doing?" I was building bridges, you know. So Sundays were my one day to lay on the couch and watch NASCAR.
Yeah.
And they'd call it Redneck Rally. Oh, you watching Redneck Rally again? I'm
Right.
like, yeah, I am. But then they came to the track, and they had watched it was the other one, Watch FYE TV or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then they came to the track and they said, Hartman, we had no idea you're going that fast around those turns. That's so badass.
People always tell me they give you a hard time too, and then they come to like, I didn't even know it was like that. I'm like, I'm telling you, dude, it's a
Yeah.
sport and it is. It's a sport. There's a lot to it. There's a lot of dedication. You have to get ready, and
Yeah.
you know what I mean. There's a lot to it, and people don't really understand. Like,
Oh,
it's a
man.
dead ass sport, and you have to be ready, and you have to bring it like every single race.
yeah.
17 races, I think we had this season.
Yep.
It's a lot. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
People don't really think like, damn, that's a lot of
And
racing.
one bolt doesn't get checked and something falls off and it's over. Your night is
Yeah.
done and you prep for sometimes 2-3 weeks and one thing will go wrong. Your
crazy.
radiator was plugged. You didn't check that, and it
Crazy.
overheats. You have to pull in, and you're screwed for that weekend after 2-3 weeks of hard work.
You're telling me my car. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
We had a few transmission problems. I think we had like 4 DNFs, like in the beginning of the year, because I don't know if you remember when it caught fire really bad. The one that, I mean, I think we both know how it feels to catch fire really bad.
Thanks for kicking me, right? Thanks for kicking me
Right?
there. I'm going to need more drink.
No drink for that. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, but I mean, these people, they be sending it, that class and all that stock car really is crazy. I'm not going to lie.
So where are you going with racing? Are you going to go the stock car route, or are you going to get something else? Or are you going to stay pure stock
I
for a
don't
while?
know, Michael Hartman. I think like right now we just pulled the motor out of this one. I guess Richard Wynn, and he kind of tested it for Fall Nationals. Kind of took it out because it was a new car this year. You know what I mean? And we're kind of just testing it, sending it. You know what I mean? We had some problems. You know how it goes. But I think we kind of got to figure it out. And I don't really know. So he took it out. He sent it a few times and kind of saw where we were wrong, where we was going. So we pulled the motor and we're gonna send it. The Woodfords are the ones that hooked me up. So we're gonna pull and send it and get something new. And I think I'm just gonna race one more pure stock. I mean,
Yeah.
Richard's trying to get me in the super truck, but
Ooh, you should. You
he's
should.
trying. He really is.
You
They have it
should.
ready and they're hooking up. But I've told Richard I like when he loves when I race, but I love when he races. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, but I think I've given him a couple of years already. So I was like, you go ahead and jump in the super truck and.
And you'll back him.
Yeah, and I was like, I'll do
pure
pure stock maybe one more year. But yeah, after that you said, I'm gonna think I'm gonna do pure stock one more time and
Yeah.
kind of retire from that. Maybe move on to something else. I don't know. I
Yeah.
kind of want to send my child Case.
Oh, man.
He's my next superstar. Let me tell you. So I think
Those-
I'm gonna kind of start sending him out there.
Those kids, that was, yeah, I remember seeing those kids the first time, and I'm like, they're all boy. Like, I was all boy too. I was out playing in the barns and horse manure. I didn't give a shit.
They're
I was just
crazy.
having a good time. I was always head to toe covered in dirt. I didn't give a shit at all. And that's how your boys are.
They are
They're all
24/7
boy go.
all day long.
They fight each other like they're in prison.
They're so horrible. Let me tell
They
you.
throw sand in each other's eyes. I'm like, whoa,
They're
these guys
horrible.
mean it.
But they like go to bed and they hug each other.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
like cuddle. That like they walk. I watch them walk to school together and they hold hands. They are the cutest,
Oh, yeah.
bestest kids.
They're-
But yeah, let me tell you, they are 100% boy and they will fight each other. There is no
Oh,
question.
yeah, I love that. I love watching that.
Yeah, they drive me crazy. That's why poor Michael Harmon. We've been pitting together, I think, for like 4 years.
Yeah, but they're
right now.
respectful too.
They are.
They're really good
They
boys.
really are good boys.
They come in, and after a while, I don't know what happened. I just try not to say nothing to any of the kids because Mom Bear, man, she'll chew you up. But I just try not to say anything. I'm just looking at them run around, and they're grabbing ice and whatever. And I forgot. Lisa just said, "Hey, Gunner, I want you to go out." He's like, "Yes, ma'am." And just out, I was like, "Wow, that's so respectful." Good. I forgot
They're
what was
funny,
going
but-
on. I think she just had her limit with kids running around.
They're a
And
pain in the butt. That's why I
they're
tell them,
very
like,
respectful though with other people.
No, they're good kids. They are really good kids. They're just boys. They're just they love being out there. And I tell Richard, I'm like, should we get a babysitter? Like, let's race today. And he's like, but they love, like, the first day I won a heat race, I'll never forget it. Like, and I appreciate it because they love to see me race, and that's why I do it for them. Like, I do it for
Yeah.
Richard, I do it for my boys, like, because they really are my #1 fans. And I have a video the first time I won my heat race, and she was recording the race, obviously, but she has a video. My son was sitting in front of her, and my son turns around and he just starts crying. He's like, "My mom won her first race, my mom!"
That's
and
cool.
it was just the moment that my son was just so happy I had won my race, and I was like, "That's why I come out here and give him my all." You know what I mean?
It's people like you and the mags that are raising their kid at the track
Mm-hmm.
that are getting me to have a different perspective, because I always thought I would be taking from my kids.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Haney said it this weekend at Fall Nationals when he won the last race. He said, "This is a very kind of self-centered," I forgot what he said, but it's more like it's all about me. This sport is kind of all about me, and I'm just happy that the family sacrifices for me to do this, something like that. It was really sweet,
Yeah.
but I always felt like my family would be sacrificing too much.
Yeah.
But the way you're raising your boys, they're raised at the track. Jeffrey Mag, his kids are raised at the track. What if one of those just grew up at a track and they're the all-pro, they're the next Kyle Larson? And it's better than them sitting idle. They're
Yeah.
not playing video games. They're
No, they're
out
not.
enjoying life, and they're
Because
not
they
on
could be at the
electronics.
babysitters on their tablets. They've done that. There's been a
Right.
couple of days where I'm just like, you guys are going to go. I'm trying to race today. But no,
Yeah.
you know what? They love it. And yeah, sometimes it's just always hectic and 24/7 and everybody's everywhere. And I'm trying to be like, okay, where are they at and that? But you know what? It always works out. And we get home and they tell me how great it was. Or when I
Yeah.
get up, I'm sure you've seen them. They're like, Mom, that was great. And they
Yeah.
cheer me on. And I'm just like, oh, they're a pain. But just
No,
love
they're-
seeing them come
they're
and cheer
great.
me on is like that's why I do what I do. You know what I mean?
They're
and Richard
great.
too. He loves seeing the boys cheer him on and stuff. So
And at the track's kind of a cool place to raise kids
Yeah.
too, because if you're like, I was just way too like, I just wanted to make sure the kid, like, pretty much wanted to wrap them in bubble. I wanted them to get dirty and everything, but I didn't want them to. I was always like, man, somebody should have been watching me more. I could have died here and there. You know, it's crazy.
So I think I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah.
Trust me.
So I was like, more like, okay, don't touch the oven. Don't, like, I was always so petrified that I wasn't going to be a good enough parent. But at the track, all of us are kind of, it's more of a community, and they come around and like they had to show if they're going to listen or not. And then I'm like, cool, I respect this kid. He respects my wife. That's all I care about. Really good kids. So I love them running around.
They're funny. Everybody loves the dirt track kids. They call them. They're like, hey, Case and Gunner, everywhere we go. They're like, there's Case and Gunner. I'm just like, oh, yeah. And then
Yeah.
we have kids coming over to our pits all the time that just come, and I'm just like, okay.
They
hi.
play really well with other kids too.
They're so social.
good, yeah.
Kids come all the time wanting to play with Case and Gunner. I'm just like, oh, they're over there. Go play
Yeah.
with them. Which I'm happy, and you're right. Yeah, sometimes, trust me, I have, like today before I left, they were outside playing in the mud. They were
Yeah.
out there riding. We're having a birthday party in a couple weeks for him, so I said, start cleaning up your go-karts. They're out there working on stuff. And
Yeah.
they were on the quad hauling go-karts, riding it, hauling butt. And I'm just like, hey, park it. Let's
That's a
go.
cool way, though. I like that you're raising your kids like that. That's cool.
I lived in a house where we didn't have a backyard. We had like a patio style home, and I told Richard, I said, my whole life I just wanted a trampoline and I
Yeah.
wanted a quad that I could
Yeah.
ride in my backyard.
Yeah,
So I
heck
said I
yeah.
could be mad and be grumpy, I said, but I'm just gonna let them have a good time because I really always wanted to do that. You know what I mean?
Same. I was the
So
same
I'm like,
way,
I'm
too.
happy they're enjoying themselves. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I wanted something to go fast.
Me
on.
too. I'm just like, I wish I lived your life, guys. You guys are so lucky.
But they know it. I look at their faces and they know it. They do. When you're not, I'm sure they show you the other
No,
side.
they love me. Yes.
But they know they're lucky.
No,
I
they
can see
tell
it
me.
on their face.
They always tell me, thank you, Mom. I love you. You're the best. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I
Yeah,
guess. I'm
they're
not mad at
good
you
kids.
anymore.
You ready for another one? How are you doing?
Are you?
Yeah, I'm ready. Every time I see you with your chicas, there's
Oh, those are my
always
girls.
different ones. You have like 400 different girls.
It's because I'm a bartender for like life, and like I have a good. Honestly, I have a really cool. I literally was gonna tell you. I was like, should I bring my? I have to wait. Shout out to my Vado baddies. Sorry, it's a little cringy, but they're my
That was cringy.
literally my
I'm
friends.
just
Like
kidding.
they're cool. They come to a lot. It's hard when you're family, you know, but they come to my races all the time, and I
yeah.
really have to give them a shout out because it's hard for people to come and like watch you. You know what I mean? Or just
Yeah.
make time, and then they work on the weekends, but. Those are my
That's
friends, and they are
it,
down to
that's
come,
it.
and they're down to party and watch some dirt track racing.
Damn. No wonder. You always have people around you.
No,
I'm
they
like,
always come. My cousins, they literally have been there every weekend, every time. My aunts, my uncles,
you have a
every
whole
weekend.
cheering section.
literally, like, they come and they support every weekend.
Well, you should take my truck out one of these last races and see what happens.
No, Richard, like, I haven't told you, but Richard, like, they have a new body. They have a new, they had the motor in there. They just been kind of working on it because he was more dedicated last time to me. You know what I mean? And it's hard with the kids and having 2 trailers, 2 cars. You know how it works. And then he would be out and I would be out. So he wouldn't be able to help me, and we would be like, and that's really tricky when you have different race cars and you're like back to back. And I was like, I told him, I was like, that's just tricky because I need you to be out there helping me or like telling me like what we're doing or if it's going or if it's not, you know what I mean? And he's like, I just hear you saying 48, get off the track, or 48, you're yellow on 48 or yellow 48 ready to send you on the infield or go back to your pit, you know what I mean? And and then it messes up his racing because he's like, what happened? Did she total the car? You know what I mean? Like it's been complicated. So that's why he's like, I'm going to go, I'll race a full season, I'll try to give it my best, and then we'll rotate, I guess, you know. But the super truck's looking good though. There's a nice body on it. We're setting it up. It's gonna be
same
good this
motor,
year.
or did you say you're getting one from Wolford?
no. That's gonna be me. He has the same motor. It's been good. He had that one built by Justin Allen a long time ago. So I mean, it's just kind of been sitting there.
That was fast.
Yeah,
I remember
he's
him
fast.
at practice.
I think
He's all
just,
throttle, your husband.
He's
like, bam. I'm
he
like,
loves the
whoa.
wad. He loves the throttle. Let me tell you. And I'm like, keep it easy on the high
know.
side, please.
Yeah.
That's my car this weekend. But he's sending it, which is good because I don't send it as hard because I'm worried about. It was my first year with that car, and the last thing I wanted to do was wreck it out. And then we started points racing, and you know what I mean. It gets complicated, and I'm not trying to send it and wreck it. So we kind of kept it like clean for a little while, but he's definitely sends it. And he loves racing. He's really good too. Honestly, he really
I didn't
is.
realize he was a track champ in 19.
2019, he was the champion. Yeah,
that's
in Southern,
amazing.
he had a few races. He won a few races out there. He was pretty good. The last think the last 2 years at Southern, he went out there. And then 2019 was the first year, and he went out in the white car that I drove, and he won a championship out there.
Good. Yeah. It's hard to do. I mean,
It
take
is
it from me.
hard.
It's my second place championship run in
Is
3
it?
years. Yeah, but 19 wins in 3 years, I can't. Like, come on, man. What are you crying about? You're doing fine.
No, he did good, really. And then that's why he's like, I won a championship. He's like, I want you to win one or try to win a race at least. He's like, because I want you to feel that.
That's awesome.
As a racer, you just have to feel that experience. He's like, so I'm trying to get you there, and then we'll go back to me. You know how it is.
That's good.
It is good. It was fun. I'm not going to lie. It's been pretty good.
So where'd you meet Richard?
Oh, everybody always asks me this question. I literally get this all the time.
Everybody already knows?
No, nobody knows because I was just like, oh, we're friends. So I'll let you know. A long time ago, I think this year it'll be 10 years we've been together. So 10 years ago, Richard and I had, I'll just be honest with you, had gotten in a little bit of trouble.
Not you.
Not me, of course. And I had to take some classes, programs, whatever, to get out of this trouble I was getting into.
So it's like juvie?
I wish, no.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Sorry.
out of juvie.
Sorry.
Out of juvie, 10 years ago, so
okay.
I wish, no.
Okay.
And I had to take classes and whatever. I was there doing it. I had to drive all the way from Cruces because I was from the west side and it was New Mexico, so I had to drive all the way out here. And I would go to these classes and there would be this guy. He was in trouble too, and he had to take these classes, and he was hanging out there. And I was just a girl with a truck, and I had rims missing. I had stuff missing from my truck, and he would be like, "Hey, I noticed out there that you're missing a rim." I'd be like, at first I was like, okay, yeah, it's been missing for a long time, buddy. Like, just leave it alone. And he was like, I have a room like this at my work. I'll come and fix it, because he's always been in body work. He's always worked in body shops, and he's very, if you've seen the car, he's very into body work, and he's very into keeping cars very clean and detailed.
Your car's
he's
always
very,
badass.
if I wreck it, I don't care if the inside's messed up. He's gonna fix the outside, make it nice and pretty, and then he'll work on the inside. It's
I love
always
that. It's always clean.
Always clean.
I love a clean race car.
Yeah, he loves it. If it's like dented, there's a little smirk. Like, my number's a little slashed out, and I can tell he's wanting to get some new numbers because it looks a little messed up. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, let it ride. Mm-hmm. But then after that, one day we were in the class together. People wouldn't show up, so it'd just be me and him, and they'd be like, "You guys have to hang out," and I was like, hi, what's up? You know, and we would just be friends. And then I was like, oh, he's actually pretty nice. The country accent, I think, honestly, is what got me. Because if you know Richard, people don't know this, but he has a really hard Arkansas accent.
Yeah.
And when you talk to him, I was like, oh, he has a really cool accent. Like, and he was very nice, very friendly. And he started fixing my car. I was like, oh, you know what? I think I kind of like this guy. You know what I mean? And we just started hanging out, and then one of our first dates was at Southern. He had friends that were out there. He was helping him out, and he took me out there, and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. You know, he's like, I'm going to get a car next year, and I'm going to come out here and send it for the enduro race.
Cool.
And I was like, okay, like, that's kind of dangerous, but that's cool. You know, I can see myself hanging out here, you know what I mean? And one thing led to another, and you know what? I'm really glad. He's a really great guy, if you know Richard, and he's really honest. He's really good. He's a great dad. He loves my kids, you know what I mean? And he sets me up. He built that race car. He's like, whatever you want, whatever color. Like, he really enjoys me and the boys. Like, you know, my kids, they do motocross, and he just wants to see us out there winning races, and not even winning, just enjoying ourselves as a family. And he'll get out there and he sets everything up. He gets everything ready. Well, I work on Saturday mornings. I'm sure you've seen. He gets out there before anybody, and he's out there with everything ready, set up, and I'll be working late, and I'm trying to make the pit meeting, and I'm hauling butt over there, and he'll be like, everything set up, ready, where I literally just get suited up, and I get my headphones on, and I hop in and just ride, you know what I mean? And I really respect him for doing that, because he could be doing that, and he really takes time to let me go out and send it. And I really have learned a lot. I've made awesome friends. I've learned a lot, and I really appreciate it. It's been really fun, you know what I mean? Something we really have in common. It's kind of weird, but I was just wondering, like, what can I do to keep it cool, and how are we going to keep this going, you know, because he doesn't drink, doesn't like to go out, and I was like, well, I guess I'll try racing, and we have it in common now. So now we talk about race cars, we talk about setups, we talk about stuff, and he's into that stuff, you know, and he's really flexible with me. He likes to have a good time, and he'll let me go out and enjoy myself, and he'll be a good trooper. But when we talk about racing, it's just something we really have learned to have something in common, and we enjoy it, you know, with the kids and stuff. And I'm sure you know how it is. It's fun to have somebody to talk about racing with.
If you guys were totally similar, if you both wanted to be out partying, whatever, it
would
wouldn't
never work.
It wouldn't
Never
work.
in my whole life, because he keeps me calm. He's like, hey, crazy, let's go.
Yeah,
I'm just like, okay.
I love that. My
the
wife and I
best.
are the same way.
Yeah,
We're pretty
he's
much
the best.
opposites on most
Yeah.
everything. She's comfortable and happy with a book.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, I got to go do something. I got to go build something. I got to go out in the shop. I got to go work on a race car.
Yep.
And she's like, all right, see you later. Have fun.
I'm very social. Like, I'll be walking around the track. I love to make friends. I love to talk about it. I love talking about racing. I love talking about. I love to make friends with everywhere I go. I make friends with everybody. Richard will just stand there and be like, "Is he mad?" I'm like, "No, he's just not as social as me, but he's cool. He's not. He's just with the vibe.
Man. He's always cool.
Just chill vibes, and he's a good person. I really love him so much.
He's always been cool to me.
Yeah, he's cool with everybody. Everybody loves Richard.
I thought honestly, when we moved here, I was like, well, I'm just gonna go race, and then if I do pretty well, I'll have a lot of friends. And I have like 2 friends still, like, but somebody told me, like, yeah, you're going to have friends until you win, and then they don't like you at
Michael
all.
Hartman, that's the saddest thing about racing that I've learned. The better you are, the better you do, the more friends you don't have. And, like, kind of sucks, but
it's all good.
It's all
fun.
good.
I still rather win than have a bunch of
Exactly. When
friends.
I go home with the trophy, I go home with that pride. I'm just like, everything's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Hey, did you know I've been in jail before?
No, tell me the story.
Okay. I don't want you to guess anything crazy, but what do you think led me to jail?
I can't even think.
I was like 19.
I
was stationed at Holloman Air Force Base.
Where's Holloman located?
It's right over there, on the other side of White
Alamo?
Sands.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even say it by car, but you have to tell me.
So I was like you, like I just wanted a street bike, or dirt bike especially, but just something to go fast on. And then my dad, he's like, oh, when you can pay for it, then you can get it. So I was 15 and a half, I got a dishwasher job that was like 5 miles from my house. And it was raining in Seattle all the time. All I had was a skateboard to get there. So I'd like go as much as I could and then walk with this in the rain, whatever. So I finally earned enough money. I bought a 78 Chevy Love, and I was like, sick. Next purchase is going to be, I was washing dishes. Did I say that? Washing dishes. 15 and a half, like sick. I got a $1,200 truck. And then I was like, I'm gonna get a dirt bike, and I'm gonna go race. I've been waiting to race my whole life. And he said, no, not so fast. Once you're out of the house, you can get a dirt bike. I was like, fuck, So I finally go in the Air Force. I'm like, peace, I'm out. I went in the Air Force thinking that was gonna be a great idea to get away from a controlling father. So then you have 42 controlling fathers over you. It didn't go so good. But first thing I bought with my 78 Chevy Love was a dirt bike, and then like 3 weeks later, I bought a street bike. And then, I was racing in Cloudcroft.
No!
I was racing. I had leathers on. I was trying to get a knee down. I was 89 and a 35 laid over, and a cop came around the corner. I was like, oh. Yeah, so I was like, well, I'm going to jail anyways. Just kept going. Got to the bottom of the mountain. They already called a roadblock.
Oh, Michael Hartman.
What seems to be the problem, officer?
He's like, speeding. You didn't see that thing.
He's like, hold on a second. Dude comes down like 5-10 minutes later. Put your hands behind your back. So, like, ooh. Then the Air Force came and bailed me out Monday morning.
Oh, that's
like, you're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's bad.
And they were like, you would have been better off if you would have let the court deal with you. The Air Force won't let that happen. They'll deal with you, but I was in a lot of trouble back in the day. Like, now you can get away with stuff.
Yeah, back in the day, that was not.
Back in the days, they were trying to Article 15 you for everything.
No, for real. It was hard back then. My stepdad was in the military. And, he tells me a lot of crazy stories, and it's wild. Yeah. You were in the military for how long? I'm just curious.
I was just a couple of years. I just was like, after that happened, and then I went on vacation because you never work. In the military, you never work on weekends. Mm-hmm. So, like, I tell Tim, even about racing, he's like, well, just go with this cheaper part. I'm like, dude, you don't know me. I have the worst luck in the world. And this story will confirm that. I went on vacation with my ex-wife, came back on a Sunday. They had called an exercise on a Saturday. You never work on the weekends. Never. That's the best part about the military. You always have your weekends. They called an exercise. I got back on Sunday. They said you were AWOL after I just got my stripe back from outrunning the police. And then they said, your stripe's going away again, whatever. And I said, just figure out how to get me out of here. I'm done with this place. Then I went and learned how to build bridges with my ex-father-in-law. But yeah, when it comes to luck, me and luck don't. I have to win the hard way every time. I'm not ever going to get it lucky. I'm never going to get anything handed to me. And I like it. But it's just some people just have a horseshoe up their ass, and I look at them like, are you serious, dude? And then most of the time, those people don't appreciate what they have, too.
No, yeah.
Like people that can go and sit at a casino and burn $10,000 a day. And I'm like, you should be freaking the happiest person on the planet. And I don't even think you appreciate what's been given to you.
No, for real. I've seen that. I definitely have seen that.
Yeah. So, but I always tell Tim, no, we're going to work harder. We got into there's been several times where we were building the LS setup for the super truck, and I said, Tim, this Jones stuff is all a lot lighter. It's racing. And he's like, no, we can use the junkyard, the big alternator and all these big pulleys and stuff. And I just kept looking at it. I looked at my wife. I'm like, she said, what's the deal? And I was like, well, I can, for free, go out there. But I know weight in the front of this super truck's going to be the enemy. And so she said, well, just get what you need. I said, good. And I called Jones the next day, Jones Racing Products, and said, what's it going to take to lighten this thing up? One wire alternator, all that stuff, little alternator. And they said, oh, that's about $3,500. I was like, all right, you want my card number? And I called Tim. After I did it, and he was like, all quiet for like 30 seconds. I was like, oh man, he's going to fire me as his driver, because he just helps me.
Yeah.
He's just a cool dude.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And he's like, all quiet. And then he's like, that's going to be pretty badass, man. He's all cool. I was like, oh, thank God. I thought he was going to be like, I'm not working with you. I told you just use the junkyard stuff. But he's like, that's going to be pretty badass, man. I was like, sick. Okay, good. He just cannot bring himself to make me spend money.
No, I feel you.
He wants to try to make it. And I'm like, dude, my kids are raised. Our house is, we're good.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I have a guy I want to shout him out. His name's Brian Mandel. Can I just shout out my sponsors and let him know, because they definitely. Brian Mandel, he's one of the guys he's the one that hooked me up with my motor. He loves this. He's MTS, Mandel Industrial Services.
I've seen that on your car.
Yeah, he's one of my regulars, but he's a great guy, and he kept me out there. Anytime I had problems or blew the trannies, like, he make ways, even if it's not financially, like, he hooks me up with the people, and he's like my to-go guy, and he loves seeing me out there, and he's one of my biggest fans, and I really wanted to tell him I love him and thank you for everything he does.
Dang, that's amazing.
Yeah, Brian Mandel. And also my family, the Vinamontes family, TNT Fireworks. I'm sure you've seen that.
Yeah,
they have been holding me down since the first race ever. I love my family, for sure. And my neighbor, Jason, Impact Electric. He hooks me up. He's hooked me up with welder plugs. Anytime I'm out there, anything electrical, he's the guy to go to. He's a good person as well. And then, of course, Mike Archuleta at Napa Auto Collision Center. Anytime I have problems,
he sponsors you?
Of course.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Of course, he's the best.
Yeah, he's
a great guy. Anytime I need something too, all those people have really hooked me up this season and kept me out there. Yeah. 17 races, it was hard, and I've had some problems, but you know how that goes. So to have people that believe in you and really love you and follow through is super cool.
You're third in the points?
Third in points.
Man, that's amazing. Are you happy with that?
I'm cool with that.
Heck yeah.
I am super cool with those new car. Richard set it up. I miss my white car. I'm not gonna lie. The old grocery getter they used to call it.
Yeah, no, I like this car better.
It's so much prettier, but I used to send the other one like crazy. I just knew that car, and I miss it. I'm not gonna lie, but this new car is. I tell everybody it's like going from a Honda Civic to a Cadillac Escalade, the night and day. And I really love my new car, but I do miss the old Betsy. Let me tell you, that car was. Richard got it from Hobbs in his daddy's yard, and we just kind of I saw a meme the other day about pulling cars from weeds out in the middle of nowhere and just making them badass race cars, and that was a cool car. I'm not gonna lie, I really do miss it, but the new car is super cool. I'm not gonna lie, it's super pretty. He hooked it up whatever I wanted, how I wanted it, and I'm really excited to get a new engine in there and try to send it third in points. I'm happy with it, but I was first in points the first season. Third in points this season, so
heck yeah.
They always say you just gotta keep going and going. So we'll see how it works out next season.
Those are my favorite cars, the ones you pull out of the weeds. And
they're the best.
My pure suck, I just pulled it right out of the weeds.
They're the best ones.
It was up to the frame rails.
And that's why it's pure stock. Everything that all those cars, they're pure stock. And Richard, you know how he is. He likes to follow the rules. He likes to make it cool and fast, but he likes to follow the rules because he wants to show everybody I set it up and I made it badass because we're legal and we're on it, you know what I mean? And he's you know how he is. He's just really like that. But that car had a couple of races where I was sending it, I'm not gonna lie, and it was pretty good. It was a good season.
Yeah, that was great.
I love having compliments from I'm sure you can get this cool racers that are out there that actually come up to me and they're like, hey, that race was badass. You're actually doing pretty good, and that's what keeps me motivated. I'm like, oh, that's cool that he thought that my race was badass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, and he's a badass racer, so.
Yep.
For them to say that to me, I was like, that's cool. It keeps me motivated. And third in points. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Excited to get that trophy.
I love beating those ones that you think you'll never beat.
Oh, that's the worst. That's the craziest.
I love when you can actually, because you have to have a measuring stick, you know? And the points at the track to me that's never been my measuring stick.
No, yeah, points
So
are crazy every time.
I just like, okay, I want to beat that one right there. That's the fastest out here?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to beat that one. So when I can do that, I'm like, cool, man. We're doing
It's crazy,
all right.
huh?
Mm-hmm.
And there's like, I'm just like, they're so fast. I'm like, how did I even beat them? There's no way. I'm like, they're sending it.
Yeah.
There's been days where I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know if luck was my favor.
Yeah.
I was just sending that car because
and it starts getting in your head too. Sometimes, I mean, people just have a way about them to where you're like, this person might be unbeatable.
no.
Like tonight, Mike Garcia stopped by and I said, man, Jesse Haney freaking, when I got third to Jesse Haney, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's
badass.
badass.
You know, like,
I would
that's
agree.
incredible.
Just racing him in a race, like
And he's like, no, man, he's beatable. And I get it. But I'm like, well, if I finish behind Jesse, Mosley, Kane,
That's-
okay. You know, you're up there mixing it up with those guys.
that's
Whatever.
badass.
But yeah.
That's how Richard was.
Even Christy, I mean, Christy, like, I watched the truck class when I wasn't in it. I didn't think I was going to go to the trucks. She would crush everybody.
She's badass.
So to put it down this year and get
She's a
close to
beast,
her
dude.
win total and kind of keep her in check,
She's a beast, dude.
what else do you want?
No, that's
Your
top.
third year out.
That's top. Yeah, that's top.
Yeah.
You're there, Michael Hart. But
Yeah.
trust me, you have lapped me several times. I know.
I don't remember doing that.
I
but
remember because I remember seeing you last week. No, you've been knocking them out every class and different classes, and it's hard to get there and stuff. But you're doing really good, really good, and it's hard. And I understand the competition is just there in every class. So
Yeah.
to be in the top is.
But what do you expect? I once, early on the first year, I have a cousin that's he was more like a father to me. He kind of like my parents' generation were kind of free spirits and they did what they wanted, which was cool kind of for us, but cousins end up raising you. And my cousin pretty much raised me, and I called him and said, man, I'm just so mad about this, and this. And he said, about your competitors? I said, yeah. He said, well, they're in the business of kicking you in the balls, man. They're not in the business of kissing your balls. You freaking send it, keep sending it, and forget about that. They're never going to, none of your competitors are ever going to come up and pat you on the back. None of them. That's their job to beat you. It's your job to beat them. I was like, yes, sir.
And it's kind of weird because I have rookies like come and ask me for advice, and I think it's weird. And they're like, "What do you think? What do you think?" And I tell them, "I'm like, you have to think about this. Everybody's here to win."
I love that.
Everybody's
but I love
here
that
to
part.
win. Yeah.
Me personally, it's got like other super truck guys.
Yeah.
I'm like, especially when you start winning, they think you're cheating.
Oh,
so
for
I told Scott Kenny and the president, Cliff, my truck's on the lift all week, every week. You guys are welcome in my shop. You don't have to wait for tech. You can come pump and whistle my motor any day you want. Open door policy. I never want to hear that shit again,
Yeah.
that I'm cheating.
No.
Never. You guys come and pull tape measures, do whatever you want. I don't want to hear that ever again.
Yeah, they come and
When I put in a motor in the pure stock and they said I was cheating, I'm like, dude, I don't know how to build a motor. I bought a motor that
yeah,
I
like I didn't build
Come
this motor
on,
myself.
man.
Like, come and tell me because I don't know.
Yeah, I put in the motor that I heard McCutcheon had. All I heard was that he had it. Whether
it's
it had
really
the
cool.
seals or not, okay, but that's all I heard. That's all. First year racer, never raced dirt before. What does that guy have? That's how I do it. And, he's got a 602 crate. I didn't even know what that was. All right, look through the catalog. Where's that one? That's what I'm putting in the off season. And that's how I got to that motor. Then they're like, DQ. I'm like, I hate you people so
Did they
much.
DQ you on the
Yes,
motor? I forgot. I
passionately.
do remember, but I think I do.
Yeah, and then
remember that.
you can race here, but you got to put on 250 extra pounds from everybody else.
Oh, yeah, I do
And then
remember
we
those.
won 6 more features after that. So it's a pretty good middle finger to their politics. But so, what about the first time you saw your son, Case?
Oh, best day of my life.
Was it?
I literally tell him every day. I said, like, people think I am a tomboy. Just because I do my makeup and my hair, people think I'm girly. But like, I am a tomboy, and I literally love my kids. But they tell him the second I met Case was the best day of my life. He changed my life forever. I don't know if you met your firstborn.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
I tell him, like, you changed my life. And I don't know if you know this, but like, we always go on dates together. We go to concerts together. Like, me and him are just like best friends. And like, when he did motocross, to go out there and I cheer for him, like, he is literally, we fight like cats and dogs, don't get me wrong. Like, me and him are just like so similar. Like, we fight like cats and dogs, but he's like, I love you, like, you're the best. Like, he thinks I'm the love of his life. He'll never cheat on me. Like, I'm his girl. Like, he tells me every day. Gunner, on the other hand,
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen all the little girls that come. They love Gunner. Gunner has girlfriends at school, 3, 4, or 5. They all come, and I'm just like, I'm your girl, dude. Like, don't even go there. But Case is the love of my life for sure, and Gunner too. I love them both, but Case is definitely the love of my life, and he's my pit crew chief.
He's the best.
He can change tires. He knows more car parts than I do. Definitely. Like,
how old is Case?
He's gonna be 8 in a couple of weeks.
That's incredible.
He can change tires. When he was 4 or 5, he could change tires. He knows radiators. He knows carburetors. He knows spark plugs. Like, I tell him, I'm like, go get the air tank. Do you want to go for a bike ride, or go turn the quad on, or even put gas in the quad, or like my door wasn't shutting the other day and he was there like adjusting it. Like, it was crazy. And I'm just like, I'm so blessed that my son knows how to do this, because this is gonna save his life one day. You know what I mean? And he's not scared, and he's so smart when it comes to cars, dirt bikes, anything of that nature. He's crazy experience, and he's so mature for his age too, but definitely the love of my life.
He's very mature for his age.
He is, and he's so good.
He I think it was your last race. He was out there, and I don't know what you guys were doing over there, but he decided there was work to do at Michael Hartman's pit. So he came over and he's like, can I help? And I was like, yeah. I use like aluminum concrete rake to get all the dirt and everything. I just told him, if you want to rake some dirt, whatever, and I was still checking tire pressures. That kid, he's every spick and he had every little dot of dirt out of there. He was just scraping it all and winging it out. I didn't have to show him nothing. He just got it, and he knew. And I was like, you guys were in the boys were in the truck, and you guys were just getting ready to leave, but it was just them two. And I said, Case, I want to pay you. That was incredible, the work that you did. And he's like, no, sir.
No, he's good.
He would not take it. I
good
was like,
for him. I tell him, like, don't ever take anybody's money.
Yeah, but he said, no, sir. And I was like, wow, this kid is he's like way beyond his years as far as just, if I want to help you, I'll help you. You don't pay me for that. I was like, man, when I was 7, 8, I needed something. I was going to take $5 if somebody gave it to me. I remember
when I was 7 or 8 what I was doing. Like, I was not, catching fish. But that's that's the only thing I remember. Like, I wasn't doing anything. But he's so good. Loads the cars up.
Yeah.
Rich was like, I have to take him to unload the car and load it up for me. He's so good.
I watch him unload. I'm
crazy.
Like, man, that is
Lights
crazy.
a quad. He takes it off. He goes off. Like, I'm very lucky to have my kids. Like, I tell him, like, you're everything I ever wanted in a son. Is just, because my mom had 6 sisters and 1 brother. I had sisters. So it's just girls constantly. Makeup, boyfriends, shoes, drama. We live to this day.
Honestly, you said makeup.
Yeah.
I got to stop you, because that's what my wife said. The first time we ever saw you, she's like, look at this girl. She's in full makeup out here throwing on a helmet. She's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So people always tell me, they're like, how do you get in the car with your makeup on? I was like, honestly, I just put a lot on, to be honest with you. But like,
you're ready for victory lane.
I was like, I'm ready for victory lane. That's why. But I don't know. I just always been into makeup and stuff. My sister was like into that stuff. So I kind of just like got into it, and like I work all day. So I'm like at the bar working. So I come with fully dressed, and then I even told my uncle one day, I was like, I don't know, want to wear makeup because like it's so painful. I'm so dirty. I said it feels like a cupcake got dropped in the dirt. Like, I'm like, it's so dusty out there. Like, I don't want to wear it. And he's like, you're known for that at this point. You have to keep it going. And I'm just like, I guess. He's like, no, you're. They call me. I've heard a lot of crazy names, but everybody always tells me that I always look great when I get out of the car. They're like, your makeup looks great when you get out. I was like, thanks.
Yeah, we're always surprised we see you. I'm like, oh damn.
I mean, there's days where I'm crying. There's been days where I've cried or I've been sad, and I'm just like, I don't even care. My makeup hasn't looked that great, let me tell you. But I mean, try to be. If I look good, I feel good, I race good. That's what I tell people. Yeah.
Racing is such an emotional roller coaster, no?
Yes.
I mean, the highs are so high.
And the lows are so low.
And the lows are brutal. And I feel like it's kind of, to me, the average is if you're really great, it's like a baseball player where you get on base 20, 30% of the time. If you're great.
Yeah.
If you win 30% of the races, you're doing very, very good.
Yeah.
I'm like maybe between 20 and 30% of the races I've entered, I've won. And I feel like that's really good, but there's so many, man, the 70% that you lose, or 80, like soul crushing. I'm like, why did you do that? I never blame the car. I never blame the car. I always think it's something that I should have done a little bit differently.
Sometimes I do blame the car. I'm not.
Well, if the transmission falls out of it, that's a little bit different.
I have blamed the car a couple of times. Where it's just like, it was you, not the car. I'm just like, but yes, it is hard. People don't understand. Like, there's been times where, you go out there and you sending your top 3, you're right there, and I had a transmission blown, and I was like, this is my moment, and you're at your peak thriving, and when you're giving it 100%, sending it, and all of a sudden you just hear or see something, and it just starts falling back. Like, people don't understand. Like, and I really put my pride aside, but there's been times where I pulled off and I was just like, I want to cry. This sucks, bad.
I don't think you're alone. I think every single person out there wants to cry.
I've seen them
from time to time.
I've seen them.
Man, there's times where I'm just like, I just hang my head down and people are like, hey, good job.
And I'm just like, leave me
and I got
alone.
second. And I'm like, man, I want to cry so hard right now.
No,
this is terrible.
I'm like, I want to cry. On the way home, I'm crying to Richard. I'm like, I'm the worst racer. He's like, you did great. I was like, I hate this. There's definitely been times like that. And people don't understand, like, it's very emotional. Like, you win some, you lose some. But, like you said, there's high highs and lows for sure.
Yeah. The amount of work and effort and money that goes into it and sacrifice from your family, your sponsors. Like, you caught me off guard with that because I've had a couple old timers in here. They weren't going to shout out anybody, but I love that you took the time to shout out your sponsors. And because that,
if
without
it wasn't for
them,
I wouldn't even have a chance.
Me too. Every time I get there, I want to. I think the first guy, what was his name? Chris Steppen.
Oh yeah.
He sent something out saying, "You guys better thank your sponsors better," blah blah blah, and that resonated with me. I'm like, yeah, man, they. So I try to make sure I hit everyone, even if I have to write it because I have a bad memory.
Me too.
I'll write it down and stick it in my pocket and have to read it because I don't want to miss anybody. But he's right. Those people that gave their hard-earned money, you better shout them out in Victory Lane or on a podcast or something.
That even the fact that they respect me and they want me to go out there and, like, they believe in me is just, like, super cool because, like, there's so many other racers out there. Like, why? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, it's just all love and family, and you know what I mean? And it's a good hobby. It's a good sport. Like, when I tell people I'm involved, like, my sponsors, they're always like, oh, my niece or my friend, she races. And, like, it's really cool. You know what I mean? Like, proud that they love to tell people about me or, like, show them pictures or... And I haven't won or nothing great, but, like, they're still proud of me and they're proud that they are involved, you know what I mean? And they come out and it's just something cool that they could tell people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it.
But so the other thing, from my perspective, is I knew I didn't have time to race. I didn't have the time to put in to be decent, so I didn't want to do it if I was going to, like, I felt like I was going to suck. That your kids, I don't know how to say this, and I'm just saying this as a friend because we're having drinks, but your kids... Your priorities are right. Your kids are perfect. And so that you have that dialed in, if you get third and your kids are perfect, worth it, right?
No, literally.
Oh, man.
When I'm last, even Case comes up to me or they're like, that was fast, you sent it. I was like,
I
was last.
But I was last.
They told me up here. Or he'll tell me, like, even right today, he's like, he came up to me right now. I picked him up from school and I was like, I'm going to go. I didn't really tell him what I was going to do because I knew they wanted to come. So I was like, I'm going to go to Michael Hartman's house and we're going to talk about racing, I told him. And he was like, okay, but then you're like, get out. He was like, I wish this was my house. This is cool. This is cool. It's like, oh, God. I thought they were going to stay. I was like, we'll just let you babysit.
I want you guys to come over. I've wanted you to come over for 2-3 years.
They're going to, thank God they didn't see the pool.
Yeah.
Because you have a pool here, right?
I want you to come over.
I was like, don't send them back there because they would not have left, let me tell you. They're already back there.
And we don't use that thing. So when people want to use it, I'm like, bring it on. Bring some food, too, so we can hang out with you guys and have some drinks.
You can swim deal.
Yeah.
I want to know what's your favorite between the Super Truck and your new car. Like, what's the difference? I just want to know what you like better.
That's modified is a lot. It's that's all purpose-built race car. It's like tube chassis. That thing was converted from a Monte Carlo into a race car. They have the full frame. So that's my first. To me, that's my first. When I got into it, and I never thought this way until I got into it, and the way the rear end articulates, I was like, and you could stomp on it, and it just put you in the back of the seat, even in the turns. I was like, oh, this is amazing. This is, because I never thought, I saw them going around, and they look cool, really cool, but they're that class felt like pure socks to me, where it feels like a train wreck. Like, but it's now I'm learning it's a lot. It's mostly like cosmetic stuff. Yeah, and they're meant to do that.
Yeah, it's meant to.
Pure sock is painful when you wreck. You know, like, and there's a lot of Tim calls them donkeys. He's like, just watch out for the donkeys. And half the classes they don't quite know how to race yet in pure socks. And it's kind of similar in the modifieds that there's a few guys that really got it down. Well, half the class really has it. And the other half is trying to, maybe they jumped in above their head and they're trying to get it, whatever. But, and I shouldn't talk anything. I spun out 3 times this weekend.
Everybody know. It happens to everybody.
Yeah. So, but I'm trying to get it and I'm getting better. And, but those of us that are trying to get it are just,
it's hard.
Everybody has to, you have to look, but those things are fast. They're claustrophobic. So when I first sat in it, I tried to get out this weekend just to see if I could get out with my Hans and my helmet on. You're not getting. I'm like, ooh, if I ever burn up in this thing, I have to take my helmet off to get out of this thing. I kept trying, like, is there a way? And I'm like,
No, people don't understand how hard it. Like when I caught fire too,
man.
and then when you panic, like I was good. I knew a fire, they were coming, and I'm very like I always am like calm, wait. And Richard and everybody was like, get out when they
Yeah.
started screaming. Then I started panicking. So then I was trying to take the steel ring because you can't get out. I was trying to get out without it, and I was like, stop. Take this, and I couldn't get it off.
Sketchy,
Then you have to take
huh?
off your helmet. You have to take off all your stuff. It's like people don't understand. Like it can get bad really fast.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen videos online of like people burning, and I'm just like, oh, that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
a worst nightmare. And thank God it hasn't happened to like anybody that I know. Thank God. But like I've seen people burn bad.
yeah. And the faster we go, the more the risk is, you know? Like sprint car guys. I always thought I'd want to be in a sprint car, but I don't know. Those,
I don't know. I think I could see you being in the near future. I can definitely see a sprint car coming around.
but they're different. They're just sitting on, what is it, alcohol, methanol, whatever it is. But it's like they're sitting on this freaking tank of that stuff. And most of them have had an accident where it
Yeah.
they're gonna burn. The guy that pits next to me, Jesse, what's his last name? Yeah, Baker. Jesse Baker. He's like, yeah, I'm burned from here to here to here, like through my fire suit and everything. Like it's legit. So, and it's not lost on me that every step that I take up, I talked to other competitors and they looked in the car. They're like, oh no, like people that came up with me through Pure Stocks into super trucks, and they look in there and they're like, oh hell no, Hartman, I'm not getting in that thing. I'm like, what do you mean? I was expecting to go as far as I can go and see where I end up. And he's like, not me. I'm never getting in a modified.
It's crazy.
So when I get in there, like you should sit in that thing one time. It's claustrophobia central.
Do you remember the guy that he pits next to us, like on the other side of you? Remember he burned a couple. It was at the beginning of the season. He's an older gentleman. He's really nice. Can't think of his name right now. Oh.
Baker in a sprint car?
Is it Baker?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, the one that burned bad.
yeah.
Is it?
Both
oh yeah,
him
his
and
name
his
is Baker.
son.
Oh yeah, and his son. Yeah, his name is Baker.
Bo,
Okay, that was.
Bo also, I think, got burned. So the faster you get, the
Oh,
more.
that burn was horrible.
Oh, I didn't see it.
It was horrible.
I didn't
If that's
see
the one
that.
he's talking about, it was that one. And now that I'm thinking that is his name. He's such a
Yeah.
nice guy too.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Bakers
it's
are
him.
great.
They're super nice people. But yeah, that fire was horrible, and he couldn't just to get out. Like, and he was burning. That thing burnt.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Was see that Dale Jr. one where he just backed up a Corvette and it didn't look like much, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
whoosh,
Yeah.
and he was on fire. It was like people. I think Pete Vargas is like, you like that Burning Man name? I'm like, I don't know. I guess I earned it. But Fireball Roberts, you know how like he died in a race car. I think it was in a fire or something. I'm like, I don't want to jinx it either.
No.
You know, I kind of want to shed that name here soon, but as for now, that's what some people know me as. So I've been like putting it on there, but I sure as hell don't want to burn up in a race car. That'd be nasty.
And how'd you come up with B-52?
I was a kid. My cousins kind of raised me. They were, they had kind of a mentor. My oldest cousin that was more like a father to me, John, he had a mentor that was about 3 or 4 years older than him. And he just had the number B-52. And then John was getting into BMX racing. And my bike is here. I'll show you after. But when I was 8 years old, I started racing BMX, and this guy said, no, we're the B-52 bombers. And then like John was a bomber, and then I was a bomber, and every time, and we were so poor, we'd share a bike up on the starting gate. He'd get done, have to book it all the way up there, get up there, set my pedals. Okay, go, Michael. I'm like, okay, this bike doesn't fit me at all, and just send it. But the announcer would say things like, hey, there's another B-52 bomber coming up, and our kids were both born on the 24th. So I was going to be 24, but that's Jeff Gordon, and our kids are so not competitive.
You're like that.
They're so opposite.
It's so weird how you relate your numbers from NASCAR. It gets all weird how you relate your racing numbers.
And I just think B-52 is just so original. People, I've never seen anybody run
No, it's
B-52,
cool.
so yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I like it.
I never got to pick a number. That's what people don't know.
Oh, really?
Richard was a 48, and I just kind of rode with it.
No, you need your own number.
I can't change it now, Michael Herman.
You
It's
can be
weird.
a bomber?
No,
Yeah.
I would change it to 11 because both of my boys are in November.
See?
So I was gonna do like similar like you, like maybe I'll do, but I can't change the number. But it's like the 48, Kristen Denman.
No, they'll get over it.
I can't.
You have to be your own.
I thought so, but I just rode Richard's number and I just rode. You know what I mean?
What happens when you guys race each other? You're both gonna have super trucks in a year.
I told him. I said we need a race. He's like,
You're gonna be 48.
he told me we need a that baby. No, the 48K,
Yeah.
something like that. No, we can't race each other. We're too competitive. He just lets me win. I'll let him win, and we'll just go from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that super truck's gonna be good. It's gonna be a good season next year. I'm really excited. Oh, shout out to Russell on. He sets my car up too.
Yeah,
and he's a good dude. Russell's a good dude. That's my homie too. He helps us out, and he sets me up nice.
His dad, Bill.
Bill, oh yeah, he's a
the
great
best.
dude.
He encourages
Pops.
me every week. He's so cool.
He's a good dude.
And he's always like, Hartman, you need to listen to Russell. I'm like, but me at this age, like if I was young, I would. But you have to, honestly, you have to listen to one person. And Russell's a great person to listen to. But you can't listen to 14 people.
That's what
Pick one.
Hard. That's
one.
what's hard about racing. I'm sure you can get this, and this is what I tell people. I hear 20 different things from 20 different people. And then I listen, of course, to Richard and Russell. Like, you're people that, like, tell me. And I listen here and there. But, like, I told Richard at the end, I said, I'm going to stop listening to everybody. And I need to just start doing what I've been doing because I know what to do. And, yes, I understand pointers. I was like, but sometimes I feel... And he'll tell me, he's like, you just race how you want to race today.
Right.
And I'll be like, okay. Because sometimes I'll race inside. They're like, race this. And I'll do it. And I'll be like, I don't know. I don't like it. And Richard will be like, just race how you want to race today. Yeah. And I'll be like, it's, you know how it is. And sometimes I question myself, and I question the car, and I question what people tell me, and then I start listening, and I'm just like, it starts messing with your head, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, just do what I do. I'm here to have fun, and whatever I'm doing works out, right?
That's one good thing about the military is that you might have 50 bosses, but there's always one boss in your chain of command. So, like, I don't know how I never shook it. I just thought if the U.S. military could kick ass as many years as they did, like maybe listen to that kind of the way of thinking. And so when I got here and Tim started volunteering, I was like, you're my car chief. He never said, I'm your car chief. He didn't ask to be my car chief. I just gave him the title, and I'm only listening to you, man. When it comes to keeping every bolt tight and motors in it and all that stuff, I'm just going to listen to you. And everybody, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, hey, I got a car chief. I listen to only, and I don't mean to be mean. I'm just you'll spin yourself in a circle if you listen to everybody being kind.
And I've done that. That's why if Richard tells me what to do, I'm going to listen to Richard, because if anybody knows, me and him are on the same, you know what I mean? We're on the same page. So I'm like, if Richard tells me to go high and everybody's like low, I'm going to send her high, bro, because that's my crew chief. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, you do. You do. You're experienced now. You're good. This is your third full season.
This is my second full season. I did a couple races, like a couple here, the first one, a couple here. But yeah, my first one is the one we raced. That was my first one. This is my first full season. And next year, what I'm going to do, I think I'll do one more full season before.
You've had more mechanical issues than driver issues, right? You haven't torn things up on your own. Just the transmission didn't work.
And that's why I told Richard, I said, you should be pretty proud. No, the other day it was raining on Saturday, and I was coming home from work, and I got caught in the rain, and I tore my bumper off of my car. And I said, you should be happy that I tore this car up, and I haven't even torn the race car up. I was like, that is skilled.
It's hard to do in that class.
Oh, man.
And especially, do they still do the points inversion? Are they starting you in the back because you're third in points?
They don't, but they were starting all of us pretty much,
pretty far
you know
back,
how it is, pretty far back. And that's why I told him, I was like, some people come 1 day, 2 days. I was like, that's kind of, it's crazy how they do that. You know what I mean? Like, I had my chance where they were starting me pole or starting the front of the end of the season, but I had my mechanical issues. So by the time I was getting everything good to go, I was starting in the back, and it was like, you know how it is. It's hard to get from 14th or 15th all the way to first. You know what I mean? So it was getting tougher, as you know how it goes. As the season goes on, it gets tougher when they start throwing you back and back and back. You know what I mean? But we still sent it. Still did decent.
Yeah. You've done really well.
A win is in my eyes. I know it. Me and Richard, I was like, one day I won't stop until I win a race.
I can't wait.
I know.
I don't know why. I want everybody to win.
Me too.
I want everybody to win.
Me too. I love everybody.
But I really want you to win. I was happy Sherry got a win this year.
Me too. I love Sherry. I really do, and I'm glad she worked hard. And it's hard. People
worked hard
really
for years to get that win.
And
that's
she
amazing.
really deserved it. And that's why I was like, you deserve that win, girl. Like even some people, they really. You know how it is to work so hard, and just to get that one win is...
Oh, everybody.
Even
when they beat me, I'm dejected, but it's about me. It's not about them. I'm not like, oh, you screwed me out. It's like, well, dude, you got to work a little bit harder. You got to do something a little bit different. Maybe you made a few bad decisions, and you sent it in too hard, whatever. But I always take it right on the chin when I lose. Even in my own class, when people beat me, I'm like, I go up and pat them on the back, usually. Even ones that seems like we don't get along.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
I'm like,
being a good sport is always the best in that situation.
Man.
That's what I told my kids. I was like, even if you're mad, sad, we're all mad we didn't win. I mean, it sucks not to win, but
I
we
hate a
all
poor
have to be a
sport.
good sport.
I hate a poor sport because we're all working so hard.
Yeah, we all work so hard. We all are, like I tell her, everybody's here to win a race.
Yeah.
We're all here to do the same thing, and only one person's going to win. So
rich, poor, pretty, ugly.
Yes.
Everybody's working their freaking
Everybody's
asses
trying to
off
win
out
a
there.
race, and that's
Everybody's
the point.
spending a lot of money, whether it's a lot to them or not. They are spending a
we're
lot
all
of money to be
spending-
out there.
Yeah, we're all trying to win a
So,
race.
Yeah,
And
I
that's
don't.
hard. So that's why I love it. I tell Case, I was like, let's go tell him thank you. Let's go tell him good job. You always tell people
Yeah.
congratulations.
Oh, yeah.
You always be a good sport because it always comes back and it's always the best thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's good for the
Always.
sport too.
Yeah.
I've never thought it was good for one or two people to win. Like this season in Super Trucks, I like. Of course, I want to win, and of course, Christy's going to get her wins. But honestly, I'm like, but it's probably not good for the fan. Like it's too predictable. If the fans are seeing the same, like if I went back in pure stock, it would have been a big problem for everybody. So I was like, that's just, Lisa actually talked me out of it. She's like,
I would have retired a long time ago.
No, yeah, it's just not fun for anybody.
Just kidding with Clark.
And this other kid that came up and won the championship, like I smile when I look at his pictures.
He's a great kid.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me happy too. I'm like, I'm a mom, no offense. And yeah, I want to win, but like, he's a great kid.
Yeah.
He's in high school. He's a great kid. I'm super happy that he went out there and he's dominating and he's winning races. Like, that makes me happy. Like, he's a great kid.
Jimmy Scoog got some wins this
Oh,
year.
and I like
so
Scoogie
cool.
too.
Me
Everybody
too.
in the class, like, I'm involved now, you know what I mean? Like, and I have friends now, and like, yeah, we're all racing, but like, I really like to see him. Like, Jeffrey Mag, I love him. Scoogie loves to see him. Even the kid, Bryce Archuleta, like,
I love that kid.
He's a great kid too. Like,
He doesn't
all my
know
friends-
that I love him. I love that kid so much.
I love Mia Bracey. And then, what's that other kid's name? I can't think of his name right now. Smith? What's his first name? The other kid that wins. His last name's Smith. Caleb Smith. He's a kid too. He's 11 years old. He took a win 1 year this year.
What does his car
The
look
O2,
like?
the white. Is it O2 white? I have to go back and look. Caleb Smith. He's a young kid too, and he would be out there playing with my boys, hanging out, and then all of a sudden sending it on the track or be hanging out with his friends, and I'd be like,
love
"You were
that.
over here playing with your friends, and then you just tore me up on the track, bro." I was
Yeah,
like,
I love that.
"How does this happen? How old are you, dude?"
Yeah.
That's why people are like, "It's funny, you and Sherry are both moms, and then the two kids, top 5, that's crazy." I was like, "That's very embarrassing." You're right, because I'm embarrassed. Like,
No, it's not.
oh, it's
Those
crazy.
kids have people.
No, those kids are bad. And that's why I want to put my Case into it. I'm like, Case can go and send it. Like, I really love seeing kids out there doing that. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
sometimes people are like, do they even have driver's license? I'm like, no,
have
dude.
to.
I was like, these kids are out there sending it. Like, for real.
How old was McCutcheon when he won his championship?
Dude,
like 8?
same. Yeah,
9?
like, I'm sure he was like 11, 12. I don't know. I think it was 11. I don't know. But yeah, they're kids like crazy. And I'm just like, they're like, was that a kid that beat you? I was like, yes, it was a kid that beat me all the time, let me tell you. But that class, like, ranges from kids to, all kinds of people. But everybody in that class this season was super cool. Like, it was a good season this year.
Yeah.
Everybody was calm, cool. And honestly, I think everybody kept it pretty clean this year from the season before we started. It was a hard season, like, my first full ride. Like, I was crashing and wrecking
Yeah.
my car was tore up every weekend, you know what I mean? But this season, actually, everybody was calmer. I think we all know how we drive now. You know how you all start learning everybody's driving. So I think we kind of all knew what we were going to do, kind of knew what everybody's going to go, how much they're going to push it. You know what I mean? We all, like, you start learning your peoples, you know what I mean? And you kind of know what they do. And it was actually a good season. It worked out, and everybody kept it clean. It wasn't that bad, honestly. I can say it was a pretty good season this year.
Yeah.
Well, I kept it clean.
Well, yeah.
Thank God Richard's happy.
You did good.
It was hard, you know?
You did really good. And multiple winners. I think in the Super Trucks we had like 5 or 6 different winners,
That's
which I
good.
like.
Me too.
And then you guys had like 5 or
We
6
have a lot of different
winners.
people.
Yeah.
People come on, just send it. People win, a bunch of different people. It's all luck. I tell people it's 50% like racing and 50% luck, dude. Because you could be first place and wreck out and you're done, or you could be 10th place and send it all the way to first. It's just crazy how things happen like that. You know what I mean? Or ride the full race, first place the whole race. Like, you know how it goes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
So it's been all positive. Is there anything negative about racing? Is there something that you're just like, dude, this part of racing is not really my thing. It's not really my jam. Or are you just 100% sold on racing?
I think it's just
the
always a
track?
good sport, Michael Harmon, to be honest with you. And when I see negatives or stuff like that, kind of just like brush it off my shoulder, because I think that's in any situation, not just racing. You know what I mean? There's always going to be negatives. There's going to be people, bad stuff, and there's always going to be things I don't like.
Yeah.
And I think bashing it or feeding into it is always just bad. You know what I mean? So sometimes, I've seen things, and there's things I do dislike, and I've heard things or seen things personally, and I'm just like, this makes me not want to race anymore. You know what I mean? I'm sure we've all been there. But
so you got to kind of shed that, huh?
I try to shed it off because when I feed into it or try to feed into it, it never works in my favor. You know what I mean? And I like being cool with everybody. I mean, it's hard. Sometimes I'm cool with people and I don't really like what they're for, or like what they're doing. You know what I mean? I'm sure you can relate to that. You know what I mean? But being a good sport, I've learned in this situation is the best type. You know what I mean? Making friends with people, even if we wreck into each other or things get negative. You know what I mean? Always being a good sport in this sport is the best way to feed off of it, I feel.
Well, you are kind of like a circus and the performers out there.
Yeah,
and you kind of have to be a family. You kind of have to, you don't have to, like, there's family members that I'm like, me and them aren't so cool, but it's your family. You got to love them and support them. And
there's people out there that I'm not fond of. And there's some things I've seen and I'm just like, I don't really like this. It's not the way I roll. But
well, I like the way you put that.
What do I do? You know what I mean? Can I speak out about it? Can I be negative about it? Like, no, you know, and then every time I've just thrown it to the side and just walked away from it, it's always been the best thing to do. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to learn that.
It's hard. It's not easy.
Some of the old timers are like, dude, you need to just go race. Don't worry about all that stuff.
And there's
just go
been
race.
times where people have told me things and I'm just like what? Like, I can't believe you just told me that, or like, I didn't mean to do that, or like, I didn't know that we were like on that page. Like, and I tell them, like, dude, I'm super cool. The fact that you have a problem with me is a problem because I have no problems with anybody. So let's make it right and move on.
Exactly.
And
if you tear somebody up, we're racing around on dirt.
That's what I said.
Like, dude, I'm sorry, what can I do to help you? Which nobody else would do to me, but me, I'm personally like, I'm sorry. Do I need to buy you a part? I'm sorry. I want to see you out there.
Me too.
What's the deal here? And
why just say call Richard? Richard will help you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is ugly. Call Richard.
Right.
Oh yeah, your car's a little messed up. Call Richard. He'll help you.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like being cool, because people have been negative. People have been upset with me, and accidents happen. I'm like, dude, that's racing. Like, dude, my intention's never to not only wreck my car, but to wreck anybody else out there. Like, I will avoid it. I will tear my car up in the wall before I try to. I'm sure you can relate, and anybody, because we all know the money and the time we put into the stuff. You know what I mean? So to do that it hurts. But I've had people call me out a few times for little things, but I've always made it right. I'm just like, don't be mad at me. Like, I'm cool. I'm sorry. Like, knock me out of the way. Sorry. Like, but don't, because Richard wells that car really, really good. So you're not gonna have a chance, dude. So don't wreck it to me because he hooks me up.
He'll just fix it anyway.
Yeah, and he'll fix it. So don't do it. But
Yeah.
you know how it is. There's a lot of negative vibes. Why? What do you not like from the track? I want to hear.
No, I mean, I just want, like, if you're playing cards and there's rules,
Yes.
just make the rules the same for everybody.
Yes.
If you're playing soccer and there's rules, well, he kicked it out of bounds. Okay, it's our ball.
Yes.
All of that stuff, when it starts being like, well, I know he kicked it out of bounds, but it's still his ball. You're like, okay, so exactly what are we doing here, and is this worth it? That's the way I feel about whenever you're so my wife, like, I'll mess with her. I had all cousins, and we'd just play Uno. And we'd play, and they taught me all the cheats. You know, you could stack cards and put a draw 4, and you just drop like 4 cards on that. And I was just messing with her, and I said, hey, I just want to let you know, I put a draw 4, except for there's 3 cards under it. You wouldn't know because you're pissed off drawing 4 cards.
Yeah.
And she's like, my wife, if you ever cheat at anything, Michael, I will never be with you. She's like, don't cheat at cards. Don't lie to me. You have to be clean, impeccable clean.
And
so from then on, I'm like, all right, everybody follows all the rules. I'm the asshole that was cheating from growing up with all boys, or mostly boys.
Yeah, wait, you need to teach me these rules because I have a bunch of cousins too, and we play.
Nice.
So
I'll show you all the cheats.
Your rules, because
I'll show you all the cheats. But that kind of stuck with me. Like, hey man, everybody's playing by the same rules. And then I've played volleyball. I've done different tournaments, and it's all the same rules. Boom, 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 and been competitive my whole life. I love competing. And then I got here, and the special rules for special people I cannot digest. I don't know how long I can. Okay, this person gets to do this. If I did that, I know it's this. If this punishment is coming for me if I do this, this person just did it, and they got this. And then, so that part of this track here is, that part...
upsets you.
Well, not only upsets me, it's like, really, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Is it worth it? Maybe I should build an actual car that I can actually travel. And I hate road trips.
I won't travel with
my car. We went to Sandia, and
how was it? I'm curious.
It was awesome.
Was it?
This track's amazing. This is a world-class track right here.
Yeah, this is the best of the best, people tell me.
But like the racing on Grants,
Yeah.
the clay, if you could put the clay here and some of the people that run things here, like you gotta, there's great in every, Sandia, there's great parts of it and there's terrible parts. In Vado, there's great parts and terrible, you know, and so me, I'm just like, well, I just want to go where nobody knows my name. I don't want any of this little history that I got going, and I probably did it to myself, honestly. I don't know if I did or didn't, but it always felt like it was like...
Michael Harmon, everybody hates you when you start winning races.
I've heard this.
Everybody tells me that. Once you're great, people just start liking it, which it's understandable because
that's their
everybody
job.
wants to win a race.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part about dirt track racing.
I understand that with competitors,
Yes.
but I cannot fathom it
It's hard to
with
fathom.
everybody. Like, come on, man.
Well, I wouldn't know because I don't win races. But
Oh, come on.
maybe one day we'll have this talk again. I'll be like,
But
I understand how you feel, Michael Harmon.
In general about life, you hope
No,
that the
yeah.
rule makers
No,
make the
definitely.
rules,
I feel you, Michael.
follow the rules for everybody.
It gets crazy on the track, and that's why everybody's
part
there,
is.
and the rules are crazy, and everybody's just taking it to the max, trying to send it. So it gets complicated, and everybody wants to do their way, and everybody wants to do this way. So I can see where you're coming from. I can.
Yeah, if you kept it even for everybody, it would be much better, in my opinion.
In any world, nothing's even for everybody, Michael Harmon.
You don't think so?
I mean,
Well, I guess, yeah, you're right.
It's hard.
Look at the Chiefs right now. They hold every weekend. Every weekend they're
Wait.
holding for like 10 seconds.
that's your team, the Chiefs?
Not my team.
Oh, what's your team?
I don't want to talk about
I
it.
can't tell you what my
No.
team is because you're going to be embarrassed.
Well,
You say first, and I'll say go.
I like
The Cowboys.
Seattle.
I don't know what's worse. Okay, take that out. Everyone's gonna hate me after telling the Cowboys.
That is true. I mean, you watch the NFL and you're like, damn, dude,
I don't really
that
watch
guy
football.
gets all the calls.
Cowboys by family. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, I just raised Cowboy fan.
Yeah.
I don't watch football that much, but
No,
they
you're
did
right.
good last weekend. Just kidding.
You're right. It's just eventually you want to shed that. Like,
You have to, Michael Harvard. Be a good sport. People are always gonna hate you, and even racing in your daily life. Like, be happy. And like sometimes I go home and I'm just like, I'm blessed. I have a great husband. I have a beautiful home. I have healthy kids. I go around town, or I've seen things and I've heard stories. I've been in situations where I've seen people not as fortunate, or I've been in situations where back in the day where I was concerned. And sometimes I'm just like, blow it all away. And like, I'll go to the racetrack and I'll stand there and be like, you're here racing a race car.
Right.
That is so cool. And you have two beautiful kids, and you
Yes,
have
yeah.
a home to go home to. And
a
you
husband
have
that loves you.
yeah, and I have no worries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, just to be able to do sports, or just to be a race car, I was like, that's crazy. I would have never thought 10 years ago I would be like, oh, I'm here trying to win a race at this beautiful track and have a
Right.
badass race car. Like, it's just, I'm blessed. So sometimes you have to just put all the negative aside and be like, I'm grateful to be where I'm in my spot. You know what I mean?
You're right.
And it's hard to do that because there's
Gratitude.
so much negative in this world, and there's so much
Attitude of
hatred.
gratitude is
Yeah.
crazy.
Like, you're blessed. You have a
I'll
great
never
life.
forget. I'll never forget this about you. And it's kind of about me, but it's the way you reacted. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it as long as I live. I didn't know how to react to when somebody not only gets special treatment for putting you in the wall after the race, but then it's a woman, and you're not going to touch a woman, and it's like she's a grandmother's age. I'm sure as hell not going to fight a grandmother. But so like, how do you tiptoe around that situation? But still, track's not going to do anything about it, even though there's a rule specifically about that. And then talk to Royal, talk to Mike, and then just sort of like, oh, it's all well and up. I didn't know what I was going to do at all, but I knew nothing wasn't an option, and I didn't want to destroy my shit. I didn't want to hurt her. So like, I did what I did. I splashed her with some water, and I came back, and I think you were the first one there because nobody was really at my pit at that time. And I said, Kristen, I just splashed her in the face with water, and you're like, no, Michael Hartman, you don't do that. You have to be above all of that. And I was like, I'll never forget that. As long as I race, you said, you don't do that. We don't do that. I was like, yes, ma'am. I was like, it's done now, but I won't do it again. I didn't know how to act. I just knew doing nothing. I just knew doing nothing was not an option for me. And it wasn't like, I don't know what everybody heard. It was a little water bottle, but that's the exact same as freaking $3,000 worth of damage and 2 weeks worth of work. And, you know, so that stuff is wearing on me pretty quick.
It happens, Michael. But everything happens. Everybody's tricky. But yes, sometimes you get involved in stuff, or sometimes you do things or say things at the track that you don't mean, or you're just in the moment. And I think we're all in the moment, especially after a race or during a race or in the race. We all get very high in our emotions, and we're just so excited and so crazy. Like, it's crazy how you feel when you're racing or at tech, especially when you're on that, in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I'll never forget that. And
I
I
love
did take it to heart.
Yes, it wasn't. And I don't know her personally, but just, everybody's better than that. And sometimes you just walk away, like I'm telling you, just walk away from the situation. You're better than that. Everybody's better than that. And you don't take it to that extreme. I know we're all excited, and sometimes we don't get the best results that we really hope for, but
it wasn't about results. It was about nothing happening. There's no consequence for this person. There's consequences for you.
Yes.
So I'm like, well, you're going to face some consequences, but like,
I could see why you were angry, and I understood.
My wife was like you. She's like negative.
And she told me, she looked at me, she was like, don't tell her. And I was like, what? And I didn't think that, and I was like, Michael
She was
Hartman,
like, so far out of bounds, Michael, so far out of bounds. I was like, well, I waited, the next race, the second, like 3 weeks later, and I told Tim, and he said, he was silent.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what was your plan? And he said, well, it's too late now. I said, well, you didn't give me a freaking plan. And doing nothing is not an option when that's the second time in 3 weeks that I'm put in the wall and my shit's crashed out. And I'm not going to sit back and just smile when people are smiling going through tech when I'm parked. So I know it's tough, but I'm like, and I do take it to heart.
I think we need to start talking on the track, being patient. I'd be like, calm. I should be like, calm, Michael Hartman, be calm.
Yeah, woosah.
You have to be like, woosah. Yeah, chill vibes.
Yeah.
You can't be angry when you race. That's another thing I learned. You can't be angry, you can't be thinking, you can't be stressed, you can't be worried about other things. You have to go, like, literally clear mind in the head. Because once it gets in your head, you start...
I'm the opposite.
You're thinking about what, bills and everything when you're racing?
What
are you thinking about, Michael?
When I get a bad call and they send me to the back for somebody else's mistake, I'm like, now you're all going to die. I'm going to freaking come... No, I mean, like, I'm going to come through everybody. And... for the most part, I do till the end, and then I screw myself up. But, yeah, I understand what you mean. It's just like, but I got angry about something, and I won. And they said, dude, I'm going to come punch you in the head every time. That was the craziest run. I've never seen anybody.
Some of these races are crazy, and some people, these runs are just, like, crazy, and, like, people don't understand, like, when you're sending it, like, you're sending it, and just, it can go, like, great to bad, like you said, so quick. And when it does, it's just, like, it can be really bad sometimes. You know what I mean? But, like, you have to just take it positively. And that's what I've learned, because there's been times honestly, my first season, I was just there for fun. This is the first time I've actually gotten involved, been upset, or actually cried during a race, because that's not me. I'm there for fun. But this last season, like, I cried when I blew up and I was like third. There was one time I was like top all the time. When I blow out, I was like, oh, it's sad. And like, or people have wrecked into me, blew out a tire. Like my last race, I had somebody get into me, and I was points racing. It was the last time, and I'm just like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was upset, and I could rant and rant and rant, but you know what?
Doesn't do anything.
Next time, I've had races where I have sent them, and I have beat them, and fair and square, and with half of what they've had, or you know what I mean? Very minimum problems. And honestly, I'm just like, I'm happy. And they should be embarrassed, because I don't know what I'm doing, and we don't put as much as we should. You know what I mean? And I go home and I drive. I'm like, damn, that was badass. For a mom that doesn't know anything about racing, that went and sent it. Like, I woke up at 6 to make breakfast and cooking, and I worked all day to go and send it, and like come back and be a mom plus a girl sending it with all these dudes. Like, I was like, I'm proud. Even if I could last, I'm like, that was a mission, and that was hard. You know what I mean? And but reaction's always key, Michael Hartman.
I know, but I can tell you this too: when you get close, when you're sniffing it, when you're sniffing it, dude,
I know the
when
feeling.
you're sniffing it, when you're like right there, and somebody pulls the carpet, and you're like, dude, what the?
That's
why did you do that? But I told my wife, I was like, to me, you have to use it as motivation.
Yeah.
And that just means I have to win every mother effing race I enter. Period. So there's no way they can do what they did.
Exactly.
Again.
And that's why
Richard's
Richard's like,
race.
go back and send it again.
Yep.
And somebody, a racer that races, a guy that's up there, he always tells me, he's like, you're fifth, you can be third. He's like, first is next. He's like, you're there. He's like, just keep it going, keep it going. He's like, you can have it. Confidence is key. When you go out and you're third, he's like, you can do it. He's like, you've been there, you've been on the top. He's like, it's not like it's not possible.
It's true.
He's like, you're there. Just send it. He's like, it's all luck. It's all weird. He's like, just take it easy. Slower is faster. Slower is faster. And I was like, it took me a while to understand that one, but it's true.
Calm,
it's crazy. Calm,
easy.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Knock the tires off.
That's why I say I was like slow and steady, and that's why people are like, "How do you do?" I was like, honestly, I wait for these boys to go out there, wreck each other out a little bit, get a little crazy, and then here I come, just like slowly weaving through the track. Yeah, it's all crazy.
You always know. I've told other super truck guys. There's been guys in the super truck class for 7-8 years that haven't won a race.
Yeah.
So they're like, dude, shut up. but they're
seriously.
and honestly,
Shut up, Michael Hartman. I'm
they're
telling you, shut up.
They're like, hey man, just you gotta relax on this. You're doing phenomenal, blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, but and they're like, no. But I'm like, okay, but you just got third. And I say the same thing. You always know when you're sniffing the front.
Yeah.
And that you're finishing third, you're sniffing the front. It's just a matter of time before you freaking figure out that one little tenth a little bit faster. Like, okay.
It's always that little tenth, Michael Hartman, let me tell you.
Yeah, but you'll get it. When you're top 3, you're right there, and it's just a matter of time.
That's why. I know I got it. I see a win coming next year. That's why. So I'm like, let's stick with pure stock. See, I mean, I'm not too aggressive. I'm not too involved. You know what I mean? I think pure stock's my spot. You know what I mean? For now, I'm still a mom. Take it easy. I've hurt my foot. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to hurt myself. I'm still. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm getting older. You know how it is. And I love racing, but I can't afford to hurt myself. You know what I mean? I have to wake up and go to school, work. You know what I mean? I have stuff to do every day. Go to the grocery store. And one time I hurt my foot really bad. I wrecked one time. I don't remember who, but I wrecked into Jimmy Martha. Shout out to Jimmy Martha. He's the best.
Yeah.
But I creamed him one time, and that was the worst wreck of my life. And I hurt my foot a little bit. And after that, I was like, see, like, I have to watch out. And I told Richard, I was like, if I'm gonna, I was a rookie, so I wasn't paying attention like I should have probably been. And my car, it was just a crazy day. But now I'm like, I watch 5, 10, 20 cars deep, because I'm not trying to, and that's why I kept my car clean this year, because I was like, I don't care if I'm last. I'm not going to cream myself or hurt my foot or my leg. You know what I mean? Like, you can hurt yourself.
And you ask the difference about these cars. You have to look probably really a half track ahead of where you're at, because you're closing so fast.
Crazy fast.
Yeah. And then if somebody makes a mistake and
so quick,
easy. You'll bump them and spin them, and then you're going to the back. So it's very technical racing. And dirt track's awesome though, because the dirt is different every time you go out there, so it's like a learning experience every time.
It's fun.
I love dirt racing.
Me too. Honestly, I really enjoy it. Like, I never thought I was going to like it as much. And even like when I signed up for practice and stuff, because I love going to the river. I love riding my quad. I go drifting. I love off-roading. Like, I'm into that stuff. So like, it's really fun if you're into that kind of stuff. Like this was people were like, you were at the track for a couple of days, huh? And I was like, yeah, but people wouldn't understand. Like, it was fun. Thursday we had a good time. We practiced. It's just something that you're into. And then Friday Richard went out and sent it. Saturday we took a break, then got it, and it got rained out. Thank God we didn't go that day, but he was gonna take it out, and if it was a good day, we probably would have been out there. You know what I mean? And then Sunday we enjoyed ourselves. My family came, we enjoyed, and I was like, that was a good 4 or 5 days of freaking dirt track racing. And if you don't love the dirt track racing, nobody would be interested in that. You know what I mean? But
if you really have a love for people, you're so happy when one of your friends wins for the first time. There's so much going on.
There's so many cool
people.
It's not,
and that's what I love about it. Like, I'll talk about what's an irritant and what's happy in my racing, but what keeps you going back to the track is that somebody hadn't won in 4 years. Like, when you get your first win, I already know.
People are always telling me, and that's the hard part. People always walk by, they're like, when are we going to win a race? I've been waiting for it all season. And I'm just like, I know. Or I have people like, I wake up in the morning and I hope to see you right there on Vado Facebook, like right there posted. I was like, dude, you're telling me. And that's why, like, I have positive feedback. People know, and I know too, like, it's coming. Just be patient. And hopefully this year, I have me a good win. But if not, we'll points race and try to see where we go. But I'm having a good time, Michael Herman. That's all that matters. And my kids.
Race.
Honestly,
don't
ever
points
I was
race.
like, I'm done points racing, bro.
No,
like, I'll just show out a
race.
I was like, I don't want to point race. I told him this year. I was like, I don't want to point race somewhere. I have a nice trophies.
If you want to go to the lake, enjoy it, but just win. Just win.
That's what I love to do. You know, Michael Herman. I love to go to the lake and I love to go out of town. I love that.
Just win. I can't wait to see your first win.
Me too.
Thank you for being here and sharing some of your stories.
No, you're the best. I had a great time.
Thank you for being the one. You're the first one that I talked to after the worst thing I've ever done at the track, and you calm me down like, don't ever do that. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
Relax.
Yeah.
I'm very honest, but we're good friends, and that's
what
why
I love about it.
Yeah. Thank you for being my friend, and thank you for also being awesome and taking me out here. And I'll be back maybe again.
Yes, you will.
Okay, I'll bring Richard.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers, Michael.